don't buy that he was pushed. I think that he definitely was diving in low and going for my legs. So it's tough. I'm just glad I didn't get hurt. There's got to be a level of professionalism when you play guys. You never want to intentionally hurt someone. Yeah, do you want to play the game as physical as you can and try and win the game? Yes, but never to intentionally harm somebody or put someone out of a game or out of, end their season and maybe end their career. That's just not the way the game should be played.
That was the voice of Big Ben discussing the low hit he took Sunday from Bengals linebacker Vontaze Burfict, where Burfict dove for Ben's ankles after the ball was released. Roethlisberger not buying the linebacker story. Our Ed Warder is reporting that the NFL is currently reviewing that hit. Skip, you saw it. Was it a dirty hit?
Stephen A., if that had been almost any other player except Vontaze Burfict, I would say it wasn't a dirty hit. Maybe borderline, but I don't think I would have raised my eyebrows or thought twice about it. But because it is this player, I did think 3 or 4 times about it. And after I heard Ben yesterday, I said that's a dirty hit initiated by a dirty player. Quick bit of background for those who don't know Vontaze Burfict's background. Straight out of Compton, Centennial High School, extremely talented player, signed first with USC, highly sought after, wound up at Arizona State, had a terrific college career that was marred by a number of the usual unsportsmanlike conduct penalties or personal fouls on the field. As he went toward the combine, after he left Arizona State, he was ranked just behind Kuechly and Dante Hightower among linebackers. Then he tested positive for marijuana at that combine. And he not only fell in the draft because of his on- and off-field issues, he fell completely out of the draft. He has been a steal for Cincinnati because he is a really good football player when he's right. Sometimes he's not right. He plays the enforcer role for Marvin Lewis's team. He's injured players. He has a long history of personal fouls. We don't have time to go through all of them, but most people know about his history. So given that history, at some point, when does the league step in and say enough is enough? Because after a while, frankly, I don't want to see this kind of player in my NFL. I love the violence that is the National Football League. I like legal violence. I like high-speed, high-stakes violence conducted at its highest, purest level, but I don't love this kind of stuff. And especially when the quarterback is involved, I know there's nothing but bad blood between these two teams, between Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. But in this case, when you go after Ben's lower extremities, as Molly said, he kind of hit into the ankles. It wasn't like a shot right into the side of the knee. But I don't love it. Ben didn't love it. Referees looked the other way, didn't even get flagged. But in the end, I ask you, when does the NFL step in and say enough of Vontaze is enough? Because I think we're getting close to that.
Well, I think we should already be there. I thought it was a dirty hit. And obviously, I'm a Steelers fan, but what Vontaze Burfict may not realize, I'm a Vontaze Burfict fan. I think the brother can play. And I think that he's one of the guys that adds a mystique to Cincinnati's defense that makes them formidable. And I got a lot of respect for him. But I don't want to hear anything about being pushed. He targeted Ben Roethlisberger's lower extremities. Look at the play, and you could see him literally diving towards Ben Roethlisberger's lower legs. And one of the things that is just a pet peeve of mine, Skip, one of the things that makes me so angry about some of these defensive players, and I totally get where Ray Lewis is coming from, is that we're men, it's a man's game, and you know, with the headshots and all of that stuff, I get that. But you look at Vontaze Burfict, you know, sitting there looking at the Steelers sidelines and all that stuff. You act like it's a straight-up fight when you're coming up against a defenseless quarterback who's got his back turned looking to pass the football, and you get a free shot at him. It's not like this is MMA or something that somebody gets to hit you back. It's not like you in a boxing ring where you fighting somebody straight up. He's looking to throw the football, and you're coming from his backside low and hitting him and getting up like you did something. It just amazes me how some of these guys, you know, act like, you know, they're so big time because they're willing to do something like that. That makes no sense to me. But having said that, I totally agree with Ben Roethlisberger. It was absolutely a dirty play. I think considering the league that we're living in right now, the NFL that we're watching, it's a damn shame that he hasn't been fined, if not, dare I say, suspended. Because if he had hit Ben Roethlisberger upside the head, I'm sure the league would have fined or suspended him then. But you can go at his knees, you can go at his ankles directly, and it's absolutely positively not a problem when you're doing so. And it was clear you didn't have to go that low in order to get at Ben Roethlisberger. So I definitely think it's something that the league should take a look at, especially since it's entirely possible that Cincinnati and Pittsburgh will meet one another again. It was extra chippy. They were doing a lot of stuff to each other. Remember, Le'Veon Bell got hurt on a highly questionable hit by one of the Bengals last year, which is why I believe the Steelers ended up losing their playoff game. It's one of the things that you've got to look at right now. It's clearly an excessive level of dirtiness that we're witnessing when these teams go against each other, and it's usually on the part of the Bengals, because we don't see the Steelers getting fined and suspended or anything like that. We don't see us calling out those particular plays because we're not seeing that from them. Tomlin is in their face talking about the need to be professional and to be above the fray and not get into stuff on social media and beyond. I'm surprised we haven't heard Marvin Lewis speak out against that.
You know, by the way, just for the record, I don't think the Steelers have been exactly angels in this rivalry, because
I didn't accuse them of that.
Mike Mitchell hit Tyler Eifert with a little bit of a questionable shot the other day. So
where was it? Where was the shot? Where was the shot?
Head.
Into the head?
Yeah.
Now, didn't Eifert lower? Didn't he come lower? I saw him ducking and leading into the hit.
He's like
lowering
6'6",
himself into the hit.
I don't know.
I didn't see Mike Mitchell lunge up and hit him.
It looked questionable to me, Mr. Steeler, but that's okay.
Well, I'm not going to listen, I don't want the Steelers to be choir boys. I want them to go after it. That's what I want. But you don't have to be dirty to do it. That's all I'm saying.
All right,
Why don't you cave somebody's chest in? Why don't you let them have to go out the game because they can't breathe because you gave them a body shot that they still haven't recovered from? How about that? As opposed to doing something illegal or what's universally recognized according to player code as dirty. Well, we all know what that is.
Dirty is twisting ankles, and we saw that against Carolina. Remember the Greg Olsen Cam plays where he's twisting ankles, if we have those. And, yeah, here we go. And this is really over-the-line kind of stuff where it's not even within the realm of possibility that it wasn't dirty. You know, like he was just he was playing out of control and accidentally. You don't accidentally twist ankles. So, you know.
Let's call the Cincinnati Bengals out on this respect. I thought y'all were talented. I thought y'all the big boys on the block. I thought y'all are about to win the AFC North. I thought y'all are about to contend for a Super Bowl championship. If you want to beat a man, beat the man. Beat him fair and square. You twisting ankles, you trying to take people's knees out. What, are you scared to go up against them? Because you're afraid you can't be at your best, go against somebody at their best and see what happens? What's the problem, Cincinnati? I would expect more from the Cincinnati Bengals. It's a couple of brothers I know on that squad. They're real cool. I like them. I'm not talking to them. I'm talking in general to the Cincinnati Bengals organization. Why don't you do something come the postseason? And why does it have to be with somebody getting hurt because of what you're doing? Why don't you man up, and make sure you at your best and leave them at their best and just go out there and beat them? I ain't talking to A.J. Green. We know he can play. I ain't talking to Adam Jones. I know him. I ain't talking to a few other brothers that I know on the squad. I'm cool with them. I'm saying collectively, as an organization, why don't you do that? If you Marvin Lewis, why don't you come out and speak out about how these guys need to conduct themselves like professionals, just the same way Mike Tomlin did with his team? Why you got cats out there being dirty for? If you're going to win, go ahead and win. What, you can't win any other way? You keep losing playoff games after playoff games over the last 12 years, so now we've resorted to dirty tactics so we can hurt people on our way. Maybe if they can't play, it's an easier path for us. What's the problem?
Well, right now the problem is A.J. McCarron, but that's a whole nother issue. So
I don't know if that's a problem. I don't know if that's a problem.
Brother McCarron, he could be a problem. You never know. Yeah.
I wouldn't rule that out. A.J. McCarron can play.
Okay, so bottom line to this discussion, even though the refs did not flag this play by Vontaze Burfict, at what point, given the escalating resume of one Mr. Burfict, does the NFL just say that's enough? Because I think we're there.
Should be right now.
Yeah, okay.
Should be right now.
All right.
It should be right now. I think at the very least he should receive a stiff fine envelope in his locker within the next 24 hours. I think at the very least it should cost him some money.
Burfict has been fined 5 times for incidents like this prior by the NFL.
Make it 6.
And Skip, I appreciate earlier you giving us that history and backstory on him because I think that context was really important.
Thank you.
Moving on, LeBron leads the Cavs to a big win over Boston last night, but who was calling the King a jester during his performance? You'll hear the can't-miss comments after the break.